Welcome back to the Crypto's Key conversation. Currently doing taxes, but I wanted to quickly come on here and try to make a video because there's some tweet threads and some articles that I wanted to cover. Going to be taking a look at some updates from the Ripple versus SEC stuff when it comes to Johnny Deaton's tweet threads, digital asset investor Stefan Huber. Then we're also going to be taking a look at some updates on Bitcoin from Cointelegraph and Decrypt, and look at what's going on with the Ripple co-founder donating $5 million to the environmental campaign against Bitcoin mining. And then we're also going to be taking a look at some of the things that kind of been sparking it and kind of going on a rocket ship as of late. And then I wanted to cover this survey Crypto Potato had talked about in their article there. But quickly coming into CoinGecko here, we're currently sitting at a $2.26 trillion market cap, currently up 0.6% for the day. And we're just looking at Bitcoin. We're sitting at 46,299, currently just stagnant, going sideways, but over the 7-day period, up 4.4%, which is huge. Coming over here to the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index, we're currently up 2 points, still in that neutral range, which is a lot better than being down in this extreme fear range. So there's a little bit of more optimism and positivity going on within the space. So let's just quickly jump into this. Got a lot to do today. So from Johnny Deaton, he says, when I see XRP, I don't think of Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse, Chris Larson, Joel Katz, or Jet McCaleb. When I see BTC, I don't think of Satoshi Nakamoto. When I see Ethereum, I don't think of Vitalik Buterin or Joseph Lubin. With each, I see alphanumeric code and what it can do for the future. And I completely agree. I know when I invested in the space, I was thinking about the utility of the assets that I was investing in. I wasn't necessarily thinking about the team off the top. I wasn't thinking about the people that were behind it, the co-founders or whatever. But obviously that goes into, fundamental analysis and proper, research and, just awareness of what you're investing in. But typically you go all based off of the utility and how the asset is performing, me personally. So I kind of agree with that. Coming over here, he's responding to a Watcher Guru, and it says, just in a lower represented Ripple, hashtag XRP, in its lawsuit against the USSC has predicted the agency will soon be targeting crypto exchanges. And he goes, I don't represent Ripple. I represent 66,000 plus XRP holders from the US and over 60 other countries across the world because the SEC chose to disregard 76 years of legal precedent, argue a token, the underlying asset itself is a security independent of promoter, common enterprise. So yeah, I'm just kind of spreading the word, because there has been some miscommunication there when it comes to certain people within, the Twitterverse and the industries thinking that, he's a part of this Ripple campaign, and that's not what it's about. He's representing the investors within our entire industry. It's not just about Ripple and XRP. It's about the investors within the entire space and setting precedent for this space, allowing the space to rightfully proceed on and to flourish. Coming over here, Digital Asset Investor had tweeted, hey, Senator Loomis, you say here meeting with Gary Gensler, CFTC, and getting industry input. Have you met with Ripple? In 2018, the SEC, CFTC were working with Joseph Lubin and Consensus, but didn't include Ripple. This led to the SEC Ethereum free pass, May 2018 clip below. So we're just going to quickly play this clip real quick.
Put it out on a very quiet basis. Got some great feedback. Integrated that feedback into the next draft. The next draft is out. Then we've been working together between our offices to make sure that we're covering all the CFTC and SEC issues that would tend to fall under our committee jurisdiction, as well as get industry input, meet with Gary Gensler, meet with the CFTC, and try to have something that we can actually break up.
And it's created by two, I would say, industry leaders, a guy named Joe Lubin, Andrew Keys. They're part of something known as Ethereum and Consensus. These are big cryptocurrency blockchain companies. Mm-hmm. They are working on this through this thing known as the Brooklyn Project. They have a lot of sources and friends on Wall Street. This, to me, will be the way that cryptocurrency and blockchain, the technology, gets beyond the sewage rationale. They are going to lead the effort to essentially systematize and rationalize and create a consumer protection organization with blockchain and cryptocurrency and this is the key thing, because they are working, from what I understand, with the SEC, the CFTC on this, a self-regulatory organization, which will differentiate between stuff that can be regulated as securities, like Bitcoin, and other stuff that you have through blockchain, like computer technology.
All right, so we're going to quickly move on to the next thing. Stefan Huber had a great tweet thread here. He says, oh my God, the SEC must have worked with Consensus. Pay attention when Laura Shin He's talking about a rumor that the SEC filed 80 subpoenas. Lubin is surprised. He knew only of one and maybe two. Then he realizes that he said too much, making a U-turn, and says he has also heard of 80. So let's quickly listen into this.
Because we're going to hopefully be able to create a world unlike a situation where you can issue shares, set up a bucket shop and sell those shares to grandmothers, and that's a hard situation to find. Anybody trying to access the global markets to issue and sell a token is going to have to disclose sufficient information, and we're going to be able to present that to consumers and hopefully protect consumers better.
So a couple things there. One of the things that you mentioned, TrueSet, I think that's not the only kind of like Edgar database.
Yeah, Masari is another one.
Yeah.
Ryan Selkis is doing the Masari project.
So it seems like you think that that's the future, where there's self-regulation, but yet at the same time we know that the SEC has issued subpoenas to at least 80 of the token issuers. Is that something that makes you nervous at all? Like,
What's the number that you've encountered? So we've got one confirmation and maybe one other confirmation.
So you think it's only two?
Well, we've heard rumors that there are 80 out there, but we don't know.
Okay, so you seem like pretty chill. You're like, oh, we're just going to take care of this ourselves, and you're not worried about any of the token projects.
I think it's prudent for the SEC to let people know that they're watching. And so I think that will enable better behavior that'll cause people to want to do deeper.
If this is true, I mean, this is kind of what I think he's kind of hitting at, is look at his reaction when he kind of like, he finishes his comment and then he kind of like leans in kind of uncomfortably and awkwardly and takes like a deep breath. And I think that's where Stefan Huber's kind of talking about. Let me see.
Rumors that there are 80 out there, but we don't know.
Okay, so you...
We've heard rumors that there are 80 out there encountered. So we've got one confirmation and maybe one other confirmation.
It's coming in right here. Look.
Well, we've
so anyways, long story short, I thought that was quite interesting. And he says, also extremely odd, Lubin talks about self-regulation in crypto before the clip and talks about how he can protect investors and consumers. He really enjoys the fact that the SEC will pursue certain projects. Yeah, well, for all of us that's been following this entire thing, kind of being involved and making videos and doing our research, following the case, following the Ethereum Free Pass timeline, like we're all aware of kind of what's going on. And just quite honestly, thinking about it, he has given, I mean, the most like fuel for our fire that we're creating in regards to this Ethereum Free Pass timeline. He's given us so much. So it's like, why is this guy like the spokesman? Like, why does he keep talking? He keeps just running his mouth, gloating, and it's only affecting what they tried to hide, which is crazy. Or maybe he did try to hide. I mean, clearly, he can care less, and it's been working for them. But we'll see how far that goes. So moving on from Ripple, Ethereum stuff, I'm going to take a look at this article from Cointelegraph, and it says Bitcoin network difficulty reaches all-time high as miners pursue 2 million BTC. So obviously we hit a milestone. It says more than 90% of all Bitcoin is now in circulation. So it took 13 years to mine the 19th millionth Bitcoin. Just don't expect a remainder anytime soon. So coming back to this article right here, it says Bitcoin's hash rate maintained a stronghold throughout a year as it complements the new all-time high for BTC network difficulty. So you can come and take a look at all these charts and the hash rate numbers and all these different this information from these charts. But I just kind of wanted to quickly highlight, that's a huge milestone within the space. And quite honestly, with the miners, especially those miners that are holding on to their Bitcoin that they mine, and and if they are selling, they're finding a way to whether it's borrowing against their assets or whatever case is to purchase more mining equipment or whatever the case is, mining rigs, to make sure that they have a stronger position when it comes to the so-called Bitcoin mining race. But coming over here, it says I wanted to just come down here. I think there was a quote that I wanted to bring up. Make sure I'm here. Where's it at? Okay. Anyways, what I was going to say was they're talking about, obviously with 90% of the Bitcoin now in circulation, and it took 13 years, but they're saying just don't expect the remainder anytime soon. So obviously, for us that are currently in this life now, we can't expect to see, the final Bitcoin mine, just based on how the system is set up and how Bitcoin's code is. It's what I want to find it. It has a date in here. Dang it, I don't know where the date is. I'm completely blanking. Anyways, it's going to take a long, right here. Yeah. So it says, but if you're looking forward to the historic movement when the last Bitcoin is mined, hoping it's just around the corner, hate to break it to you, neither you nor the current Decrypt team will see it, because it is probability miners won't accomplish that until 2140. So obviously, Bitcoin halvenings, and when it comes to, everything gets halved every halvening. So the difficulty increases, and now you have, more, mining companies, more people getting involved into, this mining. So it becomes more competitive, which I guess in turn, if I'm not speaking wrong, which in turn increases the difficulty on top of, the Bitcoin halvenings and so on. But huge milestone, the 19th million Bitcoin being mined is huge. And I wanted to touch on this because we've obviously been talking about this. Says Ripple co-founder donates $5 million to environmental campaign against Bitcoin mining. The campaign calls Bitcoin miners, devs, and influencers to move the network away from proof of work. Chris Larson. So without going too deep into this, the whole point is he's not against Bitcoin. He invests in Bitcoin. He values Bitcoin. He's just saying we don't necessarily have to be on proof of work. We don't have to do this. We don't have to utilize these, even if they are green resources, we don't have to utilize it within this area. Why don't we utilize that energy and those resources to other areas of need? And he was talking about like metals and other, environmental, or we can just say things that we utilize in our everyday life. We can use those resources elsewhere. We don't have to utilize that. So if you convert from, proof of work to, to something like proof of stake, you can, combat this whole environmental or ESG problem that's been brought about when it comes to Bitcoin. So he's not necessarily attacking, Bitcoin in the community. It's like, hey, we can do this thing differently. Continuing on here. This is from Decrypt as well. It says, this week in coins, Bitcoin hits 2022 high, Solana, Terra skyrocket, Ethereum rallies. So I wanted to come over here because there's been some talk on Twitter and people making it in their YouTube videos talking about, XRP got flipped by Solana and Terra, and oh man, it just can, Cardano's next, Avalanche and Polkadot's coming for XRP. And okay, that, and that's great. Obviously look at this, they've had great days. Terra are great weeks, 27%, XRP 0.8%. Obviously, there's been a cool-off period, and these percentages were higher, but it's like, okay, they've had great rallies. They got great things going on. There's really nothing wrong with that. Obviously, there's a lot of suppression going on with XRP. It's under the SEC, lawsuit. So there's a lot of things going against XRP, which is, okay, that it is what it is. And it losing a couple spots or a spot, I don't think that's truly the end of the world, but there's been a lot of conversation out there. And you know what? Hats off to, I'm an investor in all these. So, hats off to me and other people invested in these. But, when things hit and the projects have, great weeks, great days, that's awesome. Obviously, they're going to move up the charts, and that's just the reality. I wanted to touch on this. So I think they surveyed 10,000 survey participants, and it says over 50% of Americans believe crypto will be the future of finance. This is a survey. More than half of the surveyed U.S. Participants think cryptocurrency represent the future of finance. So just looking at this quote here, it says, quote, the poll shows how widespread crypto has become while indicating just how huge it will soon become. We see the young Americans, those who will soon shape the economy, are especially turned into crypto. It's an important insight that they are investing in large numbers and overwhelmingly convinced crypto will be the future. And quite honestly, I think that's probably one of the most powerful quotes in regards of just where things are going in regards of, my generation, or, Gen Z, millennials, and so on. And even some of the older generations is like, we see the value in this space, and we see that, hey, we have more interest in this space than, not, in respectful terms than, the regular stock market. I invest in the regular stock market, but I have a lot more interest within this space with the volatility, with the adoption, with the technology, and where things are headed. So to see this, obviously there was only 10,000 participants, but to see this is just quite encouraging, because I'm sure if they were to do a bigger, sample size, and they were to do like hundreds of thousands of people, whatever the case is, I'd be quite interested to see what those numbers look like, especially when it comes to the younger generations. They were saying 25 to 34 age group, but quite honestly, I know a lot of, teenagers that are, way ahead in regards of, learning about the space and getting involved in the space. It's super early. I rambled on too long. It's 15 minutes. I got a lot I got to do. It's tax time. I hope you're taking care of your taxes. Don't try to hide from the tax man. With all that being said, stay strong out there. Be safe.